All right, 3, 3, 3, 4 quiz review. I'm going to do the highlighted problems under modules. If you guys go to modules, the entire 3, 3, 3, 4 quiz review is worked out with all the work and everything, so you can look at it. I'm just going to go over some specifics to make sure that you guys are on the same page and that we have enough time to go over everything. They're going to be at the beginning, you're going to have problems where you have to condense and expand, okay? Expand means to make bigger, condense means to do what? Make smaller. So if I have something like number 50, I see, what do I see? A division sign, yes? What does division go with? Subtraction. So this is already smushed together. We're going to pull it apart. So if I was going to pull this apart, I'd have log base 10 of what? 7. Then I'll write what? Minus log base 10 of z. That's it. Okay? There's a mixture of letters and numbers. You see how this had a 7 and a z. Okay? Doesn't matter. Rules stay the same. I have natural log here. What do you see in the problem, the original problem? What do you see? Division and multiplication. Do not try and do everything in one step, guys. If the first thing you want to do is say, okay, I'm going to pull this apart. I'm going to say the natural log of x, y minus the natural log of z. All right? Everybody agree? Okay, I got part of that done. Now I still have a multiplication, so I have to pull this apart. When I see multiplication, what do I think? So it's the natural log of x plus the natural log of y minus the natural log of z. Everybody see that? So there would your answer be. Yes, sir?
Would you add like parentheses in between the plus?
You don't have to. You can to go like this, but you don't have to. Sean, did you have a question, sweetie?
I just wanted to zoom out just so I can see which ones you highlighted.
Sure.
Okay.
All right, where else did I highlight? Okay. Okay, let's go over here. These are already what?
Expanded.
They're already expanded, so what are we going to do? Smush them together. So there's a lot of stuff going on. The first thing I see is the plus sign. When I see plus, what do I think of? Multiplication. I see that 2 out in front. When I see a 2 out in front, where does that 2 go? So look, this is what I would do. Do what you want to do. This is what I would do. I would start by just going, okay, this is the same thing as a natural log of x squared plus the natural log of x plus 1. That's not fully condensed, but at least I did one step. Now, again, you guys told me you have addition, so what are you going to replace addition with? Multiplication. How many times do I write natural log? One time. And then I have x squared times what? X plus 1. Hang on one second. I can write it like that. If you guys wanted to write natural log of x squared times x plus 1, that's fine. Don't multiply it out. Just leave it. Either one of those is fine, though. You're showing me that you understand that those two things to condense become multiplication. Yes, sir? Okay, look at 80. 80's got a lot of stuff going on. Tell me a couple things you see. Okay, I see addition and subtraction. Good. So when I see addition, I think, and when I see subtraction, I think, okay. I heard somebody say coefficients become exponents. All right, that's generally the first thing I do. I'm just going to write natural log of x cubed plus the natural log of y squared minus the natural log of z to the 4th. Okay, you don't have to do that. I'm just telling you. So what is the first part of my problem going to look like? How many times am I going to write natural log? I'm going to write it one time out here in front. Then what am I going to write? Perfect. Perfect. If you want to put it in parentheses, fine. If you don't, no worries. But good. Very good. So you guys will have some with letters, some with number, combination, whatever. The rules stay the same. And then we're going to go to a lot of solving. Okay, I want to go through all of these to make sure that we're on the same page. You guys, solving is very methodical. When I have number 32, and it's e to the x equals 66. Guys, what is the opposite of e? ln. You have to remember that. Is the e to the x all by itself? Yeah, it is. Is there anything being added, subtracted, multiplied, or divided? No. So how do I get e to go away? I'm going to take the natural log of the left-hand side. If I take the natural log of the left-hand side, what do I do to the right? the natural log. So I have x equals, in your calculator, what is the natural log of 66? Give me 3 or 4 decimal places. 4.190. What?
I got 189.
So 189. Okay.
I rounded it again to 190.
Okay, 190. It's fine. So 190. I'll tell you on the test what I want on the quiz. It'll be at least 3 or 4, just to make sure we have a pretty accurate answer. All right, 34. I have 5 times 8 to the x equals 325. This is an exponential, yes? So what do I have to do first? Get the 5 by itself. Get the 8 by itself. So divide both sides by 5. So I have 8 to the x equals what? 65, all right? If you didn't get a nice pretty number, you could either leave it as a fraction or your decimal equivalent, you should put it out to like 6 or 7 decimals so you get a real accurate number. I have 8 to the x. What's the opposite of exponentials? Log. So I'm going to take the log base what over here? Good. And then this goes 8 to the x equals, what I do to the left-hand side I do. So it's log 8 of 65. Now, some of your calculators have the change of base, some of them don't. On the left-hand side, 8 and the log 8 cancel out, so I'm left with just x. For those of you who do not have a calculator that has change of base, it would be what? Log what? 65. Good. Log 65 divided by log 8. You take the visually bigger number. 65 is written bigger than 8. And just do that in your calculator. Give me 3 or 4 decimal places. So it's 2.0075, something like that. Okay, fine. Sean. Okay, we have to solve here. What do I do for 38? How do I approach this? Questions. Tell me. Okay. We don't want to move stuff to the other side. I mean, you could technically, because then you'd have ln and ln. That's fine. But let's work on condensing. How can I rewrite this? ln of x over 2 equals what? 0. Okay? Condense. Make it smaller. So now I have ln. Well, what's the opposite of ln, guys? E. So if I put e over here to the ln, everything goes up here. X over 2 equals what? Nope. E to the 0. So e and ln's cancel out. I have x over 2 equals what? 1. Now what do I do to both sides? Multiply by 2. So x equals 2. All of these, guys, every single one of these, when you get your answer, you can plug it back in. If it's a decimal, when you plug it back in, your answer would be really, 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 really close, but it won't be exact because we're obviously we're rounding. Yes, sir. Okay, let's look at 40. 40 is the natural log of x equals negative 14. It's the opposite of natural log. So I have e to the ln x over here equals what? E to the negative 14. You're going to get some wackadoodle number. What'd you guys get? What is e to the negative 14th?
A very, very long
What is it?
number.
What is it?
8.315287.
3152, something like that? Okay. Times 10 to the... I'm not going to give it like that. 10 to the something or other. Okay, whatever. All right, let's look at 46. I have the natural log of 3x plus 5 equals what number? 8. Okay, again, guys, natural log and what are inverses? So if I say e ln 3x plus 5, what I do to one side, I do to the? So e to the 8th, right? Yes?
Yeah.
So I have 3x plus 5 equals e to the 8th. Now this just becomes an algebra problem. This is where when I tell you to round, give me like 4, 5, 6 decimal places so your answer is as accurate as possible. What is e to the 8th power? 2,000.
900.
No. Don't round at all right now. 2,000. 980 point 957 what?
987.
Like this? Okay, give me a few past 3.
Wait, you're missing something.
Where?
Right after the last 8.
Okay. So now when we go to solve, what do we do? Okay, subtract 5. So I have 3x equals 2, 9. I said 9. I said 2. I'm still tired, guys. 2, 9, what? 7, 5, and then this point, 9, 5, 7, 9, 8, whatever, divided by 3. So x equals what?
991.985, another number.
Okay, that's fine.
Well, it's rounded up to 6.
Yeah.
Oh, I put that.
That's close enough.
But it rounds to that.
Okay.
Here we go. Let's go over here to these logs.
I got a long memory.
Okay, what do you notice about the log on the left-hand side and the log on the right-hand side? They're the same. If you have 1 on the left and 1 on the right, what can we do? We can cancel out. So this just becomes 4 plus x equals 2x minus 1. If I solve this,
Basic algebra.
yes, what do you want to do?
Oh, sorry. Move the x to.
Okay, so
move the-
subtract x. So 4 equals x minus 1 plus 1.
3.
So x equals what?
X equals what?
Okay. Now, I have to plug my answer back in to make sure what?
It's right. It works.
Not that it's right.
Zero.
There's no negative.
There's no negatives. If I plug a 5 in here, what's 4 plus 5?
9.
Okay, we're good. If I plug 5 in here, what's 5 times 2?
10.
Minus 1?
9.
Okay, we're good. If it's a negative, can you take the log or the natural log of a negative number?
No.
Nope. All right, let's go to 98. 3 plus 2 ln x equals 10. I want the ln of x. If you guys need to, do whatever you need to do to highlight this. You want that by itself. So I have to do a couple things in order for that to be by itself. First thing.
Subtract 3.
Okay, subtract 3. So I have 2 times the natural log of x equals 7. Correct? Divide both sides by? So I have the natural log of x equals 7 over 2. You can put it in a decimal if you want. But how do I get rid of that natural log? So if I have e, and then I have ln of x equals e to the 7 halves. Make sure when you put that in your calculator, the 7 halves is in, or 3.5 is in parentheses. So x equals what about?
33.
0.1,
1.
2 ones?
Yeah.
1, 1, 5-ish. Okay. Now again, if you plug that back in, you should get something really, really close to the original. Won't be exact because we're rounding, but something close. This sounds pretty good though. So if I look at 100, I have 4 log 10 x minus 6 equals 11. Guys, what if there's no little number right there? If that 10 wasn't there, what do you assume it is? 10. Okay. So I want this log all by itself. I want this log by itself before I can do anything. What do I do? Divide by 4. Good. So I have log 10 x minus 6 equals, I'm just going to leave it as 11 over 4. You can give me the decimal, it's fine. But what's the opposite of log? Exponential. So what is the base that I'm going to use? I'm going to use a big old 10. And then I have, everything goes up. So if I do 10 on the left-hand side, I do 10 where? On the right. So you have x plus 6 equals, is it? Oh, it is. My bad. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Possibly, if I can. What is 10 to the 11/4? 3, 4, 1, 3, 2. That's fine. Now what do I do to both sides? Add 6. So x is about how much? 568.341. Okay, good. Yes, sir.
Yeah, because I did it where I just took the.
All right, let's look at 106. Guys, 106. Is the natural log all by itself?
No, yeah.
Yes. So what do I have to do? It's the opposite of, good. So e to the ln x squared plus 1 equals what? E to the 8th. Perfect. And then this just becomes a factoring problem. So you have x squared plus 1 equals, what's e to the 8th power?
2,980.957.987.
Perfect. What do I do? Subtract 1. So you have x squared equals 2, 9, what?
8, 0, or
7, 9 point, we'll say 958. And then what do I do? Take the square root. So x is plus or minus. Don't forget that plus or minus because there's two answers. What is the square root of that about? 589. All right. Now, guys, if you plug that back in, you got to make sure. But think about it. If you square a negative number, what happens? If you square a negative, we're not taking the square root. If you square a negative number,
imaginary.
no, it's positive. A negative times a negative is a positive. If you take the square root, it's imaginary. All right, a couple more and then we're done. You will have something like 108 and like 110, so make sure you're paying attention as we do this. It's e to the 2x plus 3e to the x minus 10 equals 0. I'm going to write the other one over here. 3e to the 2x minus 10e to the, that should be an x, plus 8 equals 0. All right? Factor this like you would any other problem. E to the x goes in the beginning of each parenthesis. What are the factors of negative 10 that multiply to give you negative 10? Okay. Plus 5 minus 2. So if I set both of these equal to 0, I have e to the x equals negative 5. E to the x equals positive 2. Agreed? Yes? Okay, so how do I get e to go away? If I take the natural log of this side, then I take the natural log of this side. If you guys don't see this right away, put this in your calculator, the natural log of negative 5. What does it say? Math error, syntax error, domain error. You cannot take the natural log or the log of a negative number, so this is not a solution. On the other side, if I take the natural log, what is the natural log, guys, of 2? 0.693. You are on top of this today, sir. So if you see, Jonathan, when you get to that point, you see you're taking the natural log or the log of a negative number, you can just cross it out. But same thing goes for here, guys. But this factoring a is not 1, so you're going to say 3 times 8. What's 3 times 8? 24. What are the factors of 24 that give me positive 24 when I multiply, but a negative 10 when I add? Plus what? 12 and negative 2. Now, I don't know how you guys were taught to factor when a is not 1. This is what I do. This is my a term of 3. I'm going to put it underneath both of these. Does 12 divide by 3? Yes, so this parenthesis becomes e to the x plus 4. Does 2 divide by 3?
No.
So then this 3 becomes my coefficient. I have 3e to the x minus 2. And now you just solve it like you would any other problem. This is going to give me e to the x equals negative 4, correct? And this is going to give me good. E to the, that's good. E to the x is what? What is this one going to give me? Boys, what is this going to give me? 2, positive 2 over 3. So how do we, what is the opposite of e to the x? ln. So I take the ln of both sides. Jonathan, what happens when I take the natural log of negative 4? Syntax error, does not work. Good. On the right-hand side, I have x equals, what's the natural log, guys, of 2/3? Okay. You with me?
wrong.
That's wrong.
That's the E.
Awesome. Thank you, Austin. Let's try this again. Let's pretend that did not happen. What is, guys, the natural log of 2/3?
-0.405.
0.405. Okay, there we go. There we go.
I got that one.
That's okay. That's all right. All right, let's scoot on up here. Let's look at number 12. Fix that. Yeah, number 12. Can someone read number 12 to me? Or 112. What do I have? 2 log 7x. Okay. What do you guys notice about all of the logs? They're the same. Can I just cross them all out? No. You have to have one on each side that are the same. I do not have that. I have to do what first? I have to condense. I have to, where does this 2 go? So I have log 7 of x squared equals, I'm going to write this as 1 log 7 of what? Of x minus 2 what? Why is it times?
Plus.
Very good. Now are the logs the same? So now we cross out, and this becomes x squared equals, FOIL this, what's x times 2x? 2x squared. What's x times -5? -5x. What's -2 times 2x? -4x. And what's -2 and a -5? Plus 10. I have x squared. That means I want to move everything where? To one side. I'm going to move it to the right here just so my x squared stay positive. So I'm left with x squared, what? Minus 9x plus 10 equals 0. So what times what gives me a positive 10 when I multiply, but a negative 9 when I subtract?
It's 1 and
It's 1 and 10, good. So it's minus 10 plus 1. And then, so my x equals 10 and x equals -1, correct? Now what do I have to make sure of? Okay, nothing becomes negative in the log. So just check real quick. Plug in 10. 10 minus 2, we're good. 20 minus 5.
it's both minus.
Here, guys, actually, there's a sign issue right here. But listen, wait, listen. This one's not going to factor. I'm not going to give you one that doesn't factor. But do you understand the process?
Yeah.
So I would then get to this point and just pretend that the sign issue wasn't a thing. Like that, obviously, this one doesn't factor. But I would go back and plug in. So just hypothetically speaking, my answers were 10 and -1. If I plug in 10 to the original, both these parentheses are still positive, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What about if I plug in -1? No. I'd get a negative in those parentheses. Can we take the log or natural log of a negative number? So if this factored correctly, and the one on your quiz will, I promise, you just have to go back and check to make sure that nothing is negative in those parentheses. All right? Just remember, it doesn't, there's a sign issue, so it doesn't factor. But that's okay. Do a couple from yesterday's stuff. All right, let's look at these last ones, and then we'll be done. I'm going to solve this. I'm starting off with what kind of a problem? This is log, so the opposite is exponential. What's my base going to be of this exponential? 2. So I'm going to write a big old 2, and then everything goes upstairs. If I have a big old 2 on the left-hand side, then what? 2 on the right, so 2 to the 3rd. This cancels out. X minus 1 equals 8. Add 1 to both sides. X equals. There you go. Look at this. If I plug it back in, what's 9 minus 1? 8. So if you had log 2 of 8 equals 3, is that true?
I think so.
It is. What's 2 to the 3rd power?
8.
There you go.
Yes.
All right. Look. What do I have here? An exponential? What's the opposite of exponential? Log. Is this exponential completely by itself? So what do I have to do first? All right, let's divide both sides by 3. So I have e to the negative 5x equals, what's 132 divided by 3?
44.
All right, now is the e by itself.
Yes.
So I take the natural log of both sides. So I have negative 5x equals, what's the natural log of 44?
3.784.
3.784. Okay, that's fine. And then do what?
Divide by 5.
Divide by what?
Negative 5.
Good. So x equals about
0.756.
0.756.
Yeah.
Should it be negative or positive?
Negative.
Yeah.
And it'd be 757. Yeah.
757, 756, something like that. Again, I'm not going to get nitpicky on that, guys. All right, 2 more, right? Yeah, 2 more, then we're done. What do you notice? There's LNs everywhere, but is it 1 on the left, 1 on the right?
No.
So what am I going to do first? I'm going to condense. I'm going to say the natural log of what? X plus 12 over x. Why did you guys say over x?
Because of the minus.
Because of the minus. Good. Equals the natural log of x plus 5. Agreed? Now what can I do? Now I can cancel out the ln's. Guys, look. X plus 12 over x equals x plus 5. What is this over? X plus 5 is over what? 1. How would I solve this? Okay, you can multiply x to both sides, whatever. I'm just going to cross multiply. It's the same thing. So I have x times x plus 5 equals x plus 12. Would have been, it comes out the same way if you just multiply both sides by x.
Yeah.
So I have x squared plus 5x equals x plus 12. Now what? It's a quadratic.
Quadratic.
Move everything where?
To the right.
Okay, so x squared plus 5x minus x minus 12 equals 0. Combine like terms. So x squared minus, just kidding, plus 4x minus 12 equals 0. Does this factor? Probably, yes. What is the factor 2? X minus 2, x plus 6. So x equals 2 and x equals negative 6. You guys okay with that? And then what do I have to make sure of? Plug in. Make sure that nothing is what? Negative. So let's plug in 2. Well, what's 2 plus 12? Okay, we're good. What's 2 plus 5? Positive. So we're good. So 2 works. Plug in negative 6. What's negative 6 plus 12? Positive. What's negative 6 plus 5?
Negative.
So what do I know about negative 6? It does not work. Yes, sir. Last one. All right, again, if that little 10 wasn't there, we assume it is 10. All right? So I have, what kind of a problem am I starting off with? A log. What's the opposite of log? Exponential. So my big base is going to be a 10, and then everything else is going to go up into the sky. So if I have a 10 on the left-hand side as the base, what is the base on the right-hand side? 10. So this is 10 squared. So this cancels out. I have negative x minus 4 equals 100. Add 4 to both sides. Agreed? Negative x equals 104. So x equals negative 104. If I plug it back in, guys, what's a negative? Negative 104.
Positive.
Positive, so we're good.
100.
Yes, sir.